Greetings, I'm Professor K, and in this short video presentation, we're going to take a look at how we go about scoping the engagement. So once all the interviews are done, once the assessment that you're going to perform has been clearly defined, you're going to create a scoping document that's going to provide a sum of all the boundaries for that particular engagement. The boundaries are very important because if you don't identify the boundaries that are exclusive for this particular engagement, you're opening yourself up for some serious scope creep, which we're going to discuss in just a moment. So your scoping document will be a combination of all the items to be tested or to be specifically excluded from that engagement, and it will provide a clear understanding between both parties. It is necessary to prevent unaffiliated systems from being compromised. There will be systems that they don't want you to touch, production machines, ATM machines if it's a bank, and there might be other machines that they don't want you to assess. Those need to be identified in the scoping document. This is going to ensure that all the items discussed will be covered. Your scoping document is going to discuss the demographics of the organization. You've identified what threats could be potentially harmful to that organization, what assets need to be protected, and the architectural design of the organization. You're going to have to gather system information, components, users and roles, interfaces and entry points, authentication model, authorization model, in-scope and out-of-scope items, and languages. You'll need the networking information for the organization, the domain IP, the networking architecture, again, in scope and out of scope. In scope means these items are going to be evaluated. Out of scope means do not touch. You need the system information, IP addresses, the operating systems, web servers, DNS servers, other services, file system structure, again with the in-scope and out-of-scope items. Key delivery dates. This is very important. You must nail down the delivery dates, and you must make sure that you allocate enough time to complete the assessment. Any travel requirements. Ensure the scope covers this project in great detail. Time considerations are very important for the scoping document. If you don't provide enough time, you will struggle to finish on time, and you will miss the delivery or provide an incomplete report, and that you do not want to do. But if you provide too much time, the client is not going to want to pay you for your services. Clients will always want something for nothing. If they can get you to stay a little longer and perform additional tasks that are not part of the scoping agreement or the service agreement, they're going to try everything they can to get you to do it. So you've got to watch out for scope creep. While you are defining your contract, you set aside a block of hours that you feel will serve as the proper amount of time to properly test your client according to the statement of work. This block of time is considered as the scope. Very important that you allocate time correctly. When we talk about scope creep, this is when a project runs outside of its original scope of work, or when the work is done beyond the agreed upon scope, that is, the time that it takes to complete the project. When a client commonly says to you, "Oh hey, while you're here, can you test this?" Also, it's something we forgot to include in the initial engagement. This is why you never go on a pen testing engagement without a manager. Managers talk to managers. If you have a problem with somebody trying to include something that's not part of the original statement of work, you refer them to the manager and let them handle it. You can defeat scope creep by explicitly stating the start and the end dates, and that's very critical inside of that scoping document. Do not leave anything inside that document that can be subject to speculation. If you've had a good working relationship with this client in the past, and you're depending on this client to give you more work in the future, you will have to take that into consideration when it comes to accepting or denying any type of scope creep. So if it comes down to you having work in the future, you may want to consider trying to help the client out as much as possible. Again, this is why we always have that manager with us on site. so they can make those command decisions for us. And so that's going to conclude this short video presentation on how we go about scoping and engagement. I'm Professor K. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.